On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks get a win against the Utah Jazz, move up to sole possession of fourth place. And Isaac, could they even move up farther? We'll talk about that and talk about the Mavs turnaround in tonight's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good!
And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. And joining me, as always, my co-host and writer at Mavs.com. The slap son, the one more thing king. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
That game slapped. Let's go. This is, one of my favorite parts of the game. Somebody went up for a layup and they slapped the backboard. The Mavericks just slapped the Jazz tonight, just up and down the floor. I mean, Luka just wanted to, he's like, hey, I got this. I'll slap him for you. Can we keep it going?
I liked the one where Luka, it looked like original. Did he hit Mike Conley on the head and then you couldn't tell, and then Mike Conley went and he missed both of his free throws, and it totally slapped.
It totally slapped because people thought, the Jazz thought he slapped Mike Conley. Tyler Ford thought he slapped Mike Conley. And then Dwight, it feels like
listen, get Tyler Ford's name out your mouth.
I'll slap him. I'll walk up on that court and slap him. Dwight Powell gets slapped all the time.
He does. If anybody does, it's Dwight Powell. Oh man, Dallas Mavericks get the win against the Utah Jazz in a night when no one's paying attention to anything else except for Chris Rock and Will Smith. I don't know if you've missed that somehow. Go check Twitter for a minute. Mavs win 114-100 against the Utah Jazz. Jazz, no Rudy Gobert, no Bogdanovich, no Hassan Whiteside.
That's the biggie right there. No Whiteside. Crucial.
No Daniel House Jr.
No Karl Malone either, because Karl Malone's jersey was on this random dude in front of me. I'm like, bold move, bro. That's a choice.
Bold move wearing a Karl Malone jersey.
Yeah.
Mavs still.
Oh, real quick. I went to the game as a fan tonight with my family.
Yeah.
And shout out to all the people who gave advice on bringing toddlers, 3-year-old, 2-year-old. Nick came over, hung out with the kids for a bit. And you know what Nick did? Here's the thing. This is what Uncle Nick did. Uncle Nick came over. I had purposely not shown my 3-year-old what to do with the poster, not a clapper or the slapper. Nick comes over and folds up the poster and slaps it on his hand and then hands it to my son, the 3-year-old, and's like, look, do this, and never left his hand the rest of the game.
He kept doing it the whole time.
Yeah, he kept doing it, and then he's hitting the lady's head in front of us, and I'm like, I'm sorry. So then he had to switch seats with his sister, and his sister, my daughter, who's 2, she just wanted to watch Luka, not Luka, actually the movie Luka. And
good movie.
I have this video of Luka hitting the buzzer beater shot, and the crowd's going nuts, and I pan to my daughter, and she's just looking at the phone. Sea monsters. So anyway, but it was a great night. It was a lot of fun for our family, and thanks to the Mavs.
Great night with a lot of family fun. Great night for the Mavs as well. This game was so strange in certain ways. First of all, all those guys are going to be out. They said Rudy Gobert was kind of a late scratch. Then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well then
late scratch.
Then the Mavs should have it, right? Then the Mavs should absolutely win this game. And so then they start out this game, and at halftime, it was like the Jazz had a lead almost the entire first half. And at halftime, it was only a 1-point lead, but they had gotten it all the way up to 11 at one point. And it just was looking like, are the Mavs really going to drop this game? That they absolutely need to win this game if they want to move up in the standings. Now, the Mavericks would say they don't care about moving up in the standings, but we're going to follow it every day.
Reggie Bullock cares.
And it looked like the Mavs were gonna lose this game, and then they just come out in the third quarter, and it just completely changed. This is not the first time this season we've seen after halftime the Mavs just completely change course and find what's gonna work for them. What do you think's about these half times that allows the Mavs to adjust?
I think it's a testament to the coaching staff because I feel like we've seen all year that they're willing to adjust, they're willing to change things up, but also like the team, and this is where team chemistry comes into play. I mean, it was just a few games ago that they were talking about Dorian Finney-Smith speaking up to the team and open his mouth, and one of the guys on the team said, "Hey, Dorian's a man of few words, but when he does speak, he has our attention." And it's like they have that trust within each other to kind of speak up and call each other out and like, "Hey, let's do this, let's turn this thing around." It was when they announced Rudy was going to be out late scratch, I was like, "Oh, okay, I see what I thought it was a chess move by Quinn Snyder. I thought it was hey, we could realistically play you in a few weeks, and like Easter weekend's coming up. That's going to be game one. We could be seeing you, so let's hold out Rudy, and to get to one less game that you get to see us at our full strength, one less game for you to try out new things against Rudy." And all of that thing. And that's what I think. That's my theory behind it. And then they roll out there with their small ball lineup and said, "Hey, let's do this." And I asked you the same thing at the game when you came over to visit. I was asking myself in the first half, I'm like, is Quinn going to bench Rudy come playoffs? Like, what would it take for Quinn Snyder to bench Rudy against the Mavs? Because they were switching with the Mavs. They put Pascal on Luka, and he was doing an okay job on Luka. And they're switchy. They were small. And that's the type of teams like the Mavs don't have the advantage over when we're going small like this.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, Pascal had some good possessions against him.
Go as far what?
To bench Rudy.
I don't think it's out of the realm. If they're down 0-2 and they're taking advantage of the Rudy Gobert matchup, are you saying that
have the Mavs taken advantage of that matchup this year?
I think Luka will torch him.
Has he?
The second time, yeah, late in the game, he did
a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure about torch, but he scored on him a couple times.
Hey, if they want to leave Rudy out there and let Luka go ISO on him, I'm fine with it. I think the Mavs will embrace that too.
I think that's their choice. I think that's what they're gonna do. But yeah, that's an interesting conspiracy theory about keeping it. Oh, wait, hold on, I'll give you the full.
Thank you.
The Jazz side of this, like the Jazz conspiracy, is that the Jazz don't want to face the Suns until the Western Conference Finals, and so they're trying to get to 6 so that they can avoid them. I'm like, okay, that's a very confident take from
wow
on that side of things. And so they're tanking to get to the 6th spot, so that it's Mavs, Nuggets, and then they play the Warriors in the first round, and then eventually they would play the Grizzlies, Timberwolves probably in that, or even Grizzlies or Clippers in that next round. So that's what they're thinking, I think. But I thought that the main thing was them coming out and realizing, hey, there's nobody in the paint. There's no Rudy Gobert. There's no Hassan Whiteside. Let's attack the paint. And so Luka in that third quarter, I felt like really came out and was attacking more. He had 11 points in that third quarter. He went to the line twice. He had 3 assists. Guys started hitting their threes. Dorian hit a couple. Brunson hit one. Bullock hit one in that third quarter. And that third quarter was the real big turnaround. And that's what they really decided. Like, oh yeah, we can get in the paint on these guys because they don't have anybody back there.
Well, speaking of points in the paint, I was looking at it from the other side. I'm like, it felt like Utah lived in the paint, and it was like their game. Which when
they had 56 points in the paint tonight, and Mavs only had 38.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. Of 56 points in the paint is a ton, and that's going to be the game plan, of opposing teams. Now that obviously KP's gone, he's out of the paint. Dwight is not a paint presence as far as defending the rim. So teams are going to try to get to the rim. And Utah did that a lot tonight. And they were hitting their threes, especially in the first half. But Dallas just went full flamethrower from 3.
And that's what they did. The Mavs went full flamethrower from 3. They decided, hey, we're gonna come out here. We're gonna hit the paint, like Jason Kidd always says. We got every possession you should touch the paint, and the kickback out of these shooters. And Reggie Bullock,
I have to apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
7 for 11 from 3.
I'm gonna say this hot take before we go to the break. If Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith are shooting above 43% from 3, they're going to the Western Conference Finals.
I have to apologize that you felt that you should have played more.
I had to hit both of them. That's what it's going to take. Let's talk about the Mavs' relationship to three-point shooting and how if they are hitting their threes, they can beat anybody, and what happens if they can't hit their threes, which we saw the last couple of games before this one. We'll talk about that and more coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Built Bar. I had one at the game tonight. Absolutely did.
I had one for breakfast.
We eat Built Bars. I ordered some more. Have you tried the Puffs? I just ordered 2 more boxes of Puffs.
Dang,
they're delicious.
You love puffing.
I do love the Puffs. The Puffs slap. I ordered the brownie batter chunk. I ordered the brownie batter puffs. I've not tried these yet, but 140 calories, 17 grams of protein, 7 grams of sugar. I'm excited to try them. The churro puffs are very good. You can get them. They're a good meal replacement as like a quick breakfast thing. A snack. They're incredible snacks. You take them with you. They're easy. Puffs are a fan favorite. Some incredible flavors: churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie, all kinds of different other flavors. They're all covered in 100% chocolate. Go to built.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15. If you buy enough boxes like me, you can redeem those for reward points and then get more boxes. So I basically got a box for free because of the amount of Built Bars that I've bought from them. If you check that out. So go check it out, built.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15. You can use it on any order for 15% off at built.com. All right, Isaac Harris, thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen. For your next listen today, check out Locked On Now. It's a nightly recap of every NBA game with analysis from your local experts, including us. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. That's Locked On Now. So the Mavs make the adjustment at halftime to come out and to start, hitting the paint and to start getting involved down there. And then they kick it out. Their three-point shooters finally start to get hot. Mavs shot 50% from 3 in this game. The Jazz started out hot from 3, and then they ended 12 of 34. So in the second half, they just completely cooled off. They went 2 of 15 in the second half from 3. After going
7 in the third quarter.
After going 10 of 19 from 3 in the first half, the Jazz did. What is it about the Mavs and three-point shooting? Because it seems like it keeps happening. The Mavs don't shoot the ball from 3 well at all, and they get blown out by the Timberwolves. They do shoot the ball well from 3, and then they end up blowing out the Jazz in the second half. What is it about this team?
Because they can get it whenever they want it. Like that. I mean, that's the thing. It's their Luka will create enough space to where that's why I said that comment of like, if Reggie and Dorian are shooting above 43% from 3, then they're going to the conference finals. Like that's it, because they're going to get the shot. Like I was watching this. So watching the games now, I was picking up different things. I saw the Donovan Mitchell hollering at the bench type thing with Josh Green picked him up. I saw Theo Pinson and Donovan Mitchell like exchanging words tonight, at the free throw line, all this stuff. And it's like, I love Theo. We love Theo, friend of the pod. But I was also watching him in the second half too, of them coming down and pointing Reggie into the corner. And Luka's like laughing, like he's on the floor, just like laughing. He's like pointing to Reggie. He's like, just go right here, go right here. It's like, they can do it at will. It's like, we know you're going to be open. We can get you this shot in the corner. Here you go. Be ready. And that, I just don't, that's the thing. It's like, because teams are going to try to trap Luka. They don't want him to get into the paint, even though he got into the paint in the third quarter. Like you said, it felt like he got an and one like 3 or 4 times in a row. Mm-hmm. They have no answers on the perimeter for Luka Doncic at all. Another reason why we should want Utah in the playoffs. But that's just the thing. It's like, it all depends on how these shooters will play. Everybody will trap. Everybody will close the paint against Luka, but also everybody will leave Reggie and Dorian open in the corners, and they just have to hit them. And if they do, they're going to be a successful playoff team. And
it's on those 2 guys, right? I mean, Brunson is going to hit some.
Dinwiddie's going
to hit some. Maxi's. We can't rely on him at this point. Like that can't be a thing that you rely on as far as like, hey, we're gonna give him like 10 threes in a game, right? I don't think you can rely on him. He's gonna be the one that gets left alone probably if he doesn't break out of this funk somehow.
Hit the conspiracy theory button. I got a galaxy brain take. You know what Maxi's doing? Maxi's missing all of these on purpose, so they leave him wide open in the playoffs. And he's going back to
hold on. 40. Was that loud enough for everybody?
And then everybody's gonna be like, he sucks shooting from 3. And then the playoffs are gonna start. They're gonna leave him open, and he's gonna shoot like 45% from 3 in the playoffs.
You're saying Maxi Kleber over the last 10 games is shooting 16% from 3 on purpose?
Go with me. Follow me down this take.
You're telling me he's doing it on purpose. He only missed one tonight, and it is just he's not hitting that. We don't have to go down the whole Maxey discourse, but
No.
But yeah, it is going to be on those guys, and it's going to be a lot on Reggie and Dorian. Those guys are going to play. I mean, they're playing 30, 35 minutes a night right now. They're going to play 40 minutes a game probably in the playoffs. And so, yeah, I'm kind of with you. If those two, it's really on those two guys to hit their threes, because we hope you get enough out of Luka, Brunson, and Dinwiddie scoring wise in order to win games. It's going to be huge.
Like it's almost more on them than. Like, I wouldn't go as far as saying Dinwiddie needs to average 17 points a game and they'll go to the conference finals. Like, I'm not even going to say that. I think for me, if we had to play a game and say, hey, what is one thing that has to happen for them to go to the conference finals? That's the thing. It's Reggie and Dorian over 43% from three.
Why is it 43 and not like
because I just picking a number. I'm just saying, could they shoot 40% from three? I'm just picking 43. I didn't want to pick 45 because that seems
43 is a nice number.
I know. This go 43.5%.
Yeah, it a lot is on them. A lot is on them, and if they can hit like they did tonight, Reggie was 7 of 11, Dorian was 2 of 4. The Mavs won this game, and they won it pretty handily, and it came on the backs of that. There's a lot of other things that would have to happen for sure, but that is a big thing, and the Mavs really rely on that a lot. Why does it seem like they can't find other ways to score though in games like the Timberwolves game over the weekend? By the way, you are never doing. I'm not allowing you to do any more solo post-game pods because
I didn't even do a solo when Austin came on.
You're 0 for 3 without me in post-game pods.
No, it is just post-game weekend pods in which you're off. And to where like the last weekend before, I did a couple solos, had Austin lined up for that pod, and then of course they crap the bed, and it's like, all right, cool.
But what is the difference between a game like that and a game like this against the Jazz?
Because when they don't hit, like
it's literally just that.
It really is, because what happens is when the players stop hitting, well then Luka starts losing a little trust in it, and it's like, all right, well let me kind of. And they start losing I feel like that happened in the first part of this game. I thought the Jazz kind of psyched Luka out a little bit. They put Pascal on him, and they didn't put Royce O'Neal. And Luka, and we were talking about this at a game, I think Luka thought it was a mismatch more than what it actually was. I actually thought Pascal played him decently well.
Luka hits that first step back 3 against Pascal, and you can see him from my vantage point. I could see him say, "You can't guard me." He's like, he's standing right behind him, right? You can't guard me. He's right behind him. And then the next 3 or 4 possessions, the Mavs just threw out the entire offense, and it was Luka 1-on-1 against Pascal, and he didn't score on him the rest of the time. Like, he had to try and bail him out by kicking out to not open shooters at that point.
Yeah, it just felt like he was kind of forced in a little bit, or he thought he had the mismatch, which is still a mismatch. I mean, if we want to be technical about it, and then just kind of threw them off they wasn't really running their system. Like they weren't cutting and moving, like all of that stuff. So that's what can't happen in the playoffs. They got to kind of trust their system in that, but it's hard to trust the system if the guys aren't hitting. And if the guys stop hitting, then will Luka kind of go back to his old faithful moves and be like, all right, well, if y'all ain't gonna hit, I'm gonna kind of do my thing, which is okay at times, but you still got to trust it.
We've almost seen them win playoff series against the Clippers with Luka doing his thing and guys not necessarily hitting, right? It's almost happened before. I also have to keep reminding myself, Luka goes to another level, like in the playoffs, right? These moments in games where, like this third quarter or like some first quarters we've seen this year where he just all of a sudden gets real aggressive and is just on it. And he takes like 7-10 shots in a quarter, and he'll score like 15 points in a quarter. That's the playoffs every quarter for him, right? Like he goes off like that because he can decide to almost. So you have to almost remind yourself, like, hey, Luka goes up to another level because he is a big game player. He gets up for these games. He's been doing it for his entire life, or his entire life that he's been good at basketball. He's been getting up for these big games. You almost have to remind yourself when you're thinking about, okay, Mavs versus Jazz first round. Okay, Mavs versus Warriors first round. Okay, Luka's going to step up another level. He just does.
Yeah. And I expect Donovan Mitchell to step up a level too. Like, we've seen it. Like, we've seen Donovan Mitchell
50 points.
Put up 50 in the second round of a playoff. That was in the second round, right? Against Denver, right? or am I mistaken?
I think that was a first round series.
Either way, like we've seen Mitchell play at a very high level in the playoffs. So I expect him. I'm obviously not a big Jazz fan at all. My heart kind of sank when he fell down and he started smacking the floor. Like I thought it was bad. When he
first round in the bubble, he put a 57 in that first game against Denver.
Sheesh.
51 in game 4 and 44 in game 6. So yeah, coming up, let's talk about some of the other moments of this game that really stood out. Donovan Mitchell got hurt in this one and then ended up coming back. We'll talk about Reggie Bullock a little bit more, and then we'll talk about the standings, because all of a sudden this Mavs team only 2 games back from 3. We'll talk about that and more coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about NBA Top Shot. NBA Top Shot's the officially licensed NFT of the NBA. Connect to the community of hundreds of thousands of NBA fans as a natural progression of fantasy sports, a way to upgrade your experience as a fan. Isaac, you're a fan of NBA Top Shot. How do you enjoy Top Shot?
I enjoy it. It's kind of like stock markets, right? Like you kind of pick a player that you want to kind of invest in. Like, hey, let me buy low on a Trent Forrest, and then when he hits a summer league, free throw to walk it off, and he's waving off to the crowd, you're like, is this going to be his highest moment of his career? Probably, but let me try to buy cheap and see if he turns into something. That's what I enjoy. Is you try to bet on the future of a player.
It's like buying and trading, basketball cards, except for you get the actual moment and you can see the play over and over again from every angle. It's actually pretty cool to see some of them. I didn't tell you this yet, but I opened a pack.
Whoa, you did.
I'll tell you one. I got a Dennis Smith Jr. layup from Portland. It's a reverse layup. It's nice, but I saw it from every single angle. It's amazing. Go check it out. You can get you can get a pack and you never know what you're going to get into it. NBA Top Shot is the future of being an NBA fan. Officially owned, licensed, rare NFTs for the greatest moments in NBA history. Sign up today. LockedOn.NBATopShot.com. LockedOn.NBATopShot.com.
Did you DM and tell him?
This episode is also brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it's impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that you could possibly need. Why would you endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning? Is this your car? Is this your car? Is this your car? Save time and money with Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30, 50%, even 100% more on the same exact parts you can get from somewhere else? For example, a Honda Odyssey, they have a fuel pump. That's a thing in a car. $353 from a chain store. On Rock Auto, that same part is $216. An incredible difference right there. Go check it out. See how you can save on rockauto.com. See all the parts available for your car or truck. Write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box. Don't DM it to them. Write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box. They know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into the rest of this game. So there's a couple of big moments. Donovan Mitchell goes down with an injury. It was really strange. It was almost like one of those moments where he was holding his ankle. He said Dwight Powell stepped on it. That's what was being said afterwards. It was hard to tell in the arena. Both of us were there, so we didn't see replays over and over again. But this happened in the middle of the third quarter, and it almost looked like, oh, dang, is he going to be out for the rest of the season? Like, it looked almost that bad, the way that he was holding it. He was on the floor, and then eventually, like a minute or two later, he comes back into the game.
Yeah, I watched him. Obviously he walked off the floor. They helped him off the floor. He laid on the floor, smacking it and everything. I'm like, wow, he was slapping the floor. And then when he walked off, they kept him kind of in the like tunnel area, and I saw them like kind of working on his leg and all of that. And then when he ran back in, he was still like hobbling on the floor. When he was going up and down, I'm like, why are you in this game right now?
And then apparently he was asking, Jason Kidd was calling for like, hey, pick him up full court, and then
Donovan
Mitchell was looking to the sideline saying, why are you guys doing this to me when I'm hurt? And you're like, I don't know, man. Like that's just kind of the way.
That's big time Devin Booker double team vibes.
it did feel like that. It was just a very weird moment of this game. Hopefully feel like Donovan Mitchell is okay and all that. But I didn't think he played well at all. Like they were throwing the doubles at him. He finished 4 of 13. He had 10 points when he went down with that injury. He only finished with 2 more points. He was a -11 in that starting lineup. And when
Finney-Smith, man,
when he just can't take over like that. It changes what this Jazz team can do, especially offensively, because you're relying on Mike Conley to do some stuff, and he was pretty decent. He was 6 of 9 in this game, but
Nice.
but when you can't rely on Donovan Mitchell, and obviously Bogdanovich is out for them, and Jordan Clarkson isn't a flamethrower, then it's tough for this Jazz team to score points.
And you don't have, the post presence of Rudy Gobert, but they put Dorian on Mitchell a lot, and it's like that's length on him. You put a 6'8" guy on Mitchell who's 6'3" long wingspan, but is that the answer against a Donovan Mitchell? I don't know, but it feels like this is a couple times now that he's at least played him decent. Reggie had his shot at him in the second half a few times, and Mitchell tried to like blow past him and do this dunk, and the ball slipped out of his hands. I'm like, ooh.
It was going to be a good dunk too. Not as good as Davis Bertans' dunk, but still a really good dunk.
Gosh, Rudy Gay.
Davis Bertans had maybe the Mavs' best dunk of the season.
That was incredible. I was like super hyped. My son just doesn't even know. He's holding his ears like, it's too loud. Why are you yelling right now?
That's because he was just watching the TV the whole time, the Jumbotron.
Really, the Jumbotron was just a big TV for him. Here's all your screen time.
Yeah, true.
But I thought Jalen Brunson's second half, I was worried about him in the first half. He just wasn't hitting some of these bunny shots and just wasn't playing very well. But second half, 14 of his 22 points in the game. He was a plus 23 in the second half, hit 2 of his 3 threes. He had that transition, like pull up 3. He had a little jumper there in the lane. He just felt, it was just all going in the second half. Really the whole team. It's like the floodgate just opened up in the second half.
He found his stride, though, I felt like. He found his rhythm, right? I compared him on Twitter the other day, too. He's a drummer that can do some offbeat stuff. Have you ever heard a drummer, they're playing on the beat, and then all of a sudden they hit, like, one offbeat every... Like, they keep hitting, like, they can play like that?
I'm not well-versed in drumming world.
There's, like, a couple drummers that are listening that'll just be like, oh, yeah, he's totally right.
Are you saying Drummond or drumming?
No. But he can do that kind of stuff, right? He can the herky jerky, like stop you in your tracks and then throw up a layup when you're not expecting it. That's what he can do. And I felt like he was able to get that rhythm back in this game. He finished with 22 points, 10 boards, 5 assists. Luka also had 32 points, 10 boards, 5 assists. The first time a Mavs backcourt in Mavs history had 20, 10, and 5 in a game, which is just a weird stat line for 2 guards to have. But they needed that because Dinwiddie wasn't getting exactly what he has been getting. I thought he would because of his slashing ability and the lack of rim protection for the Jazz. But it was Brunson that was able to take that next step, hit all 6 of his free throws, and the Mavs need that. And it was good to see him do it against a good team, against a well-coached team, a team that was playing defense pretty well, I thought, in the first half, and then come out in that second and just do the stuff that he had been doing well.
Yeah. I liked his game. Just looking across the board, Dorian hit a couple threes in this game. He was 2 of 4 from 3. We already talked about Maxey Bertans' big dunk. Josh Green played 13 minutes in this game. I can honestly tell you nothing about Josh Green's game tonight. He had a cool pass one time on the breakaway. I guess that's about it. But yeah, I don't really have a ton else on the game.
This game stunk because it was supposed to be this go back to this is a season defining stretch or something. Like this was supposed to be this is a series preview.
Nick texted me today. You're taking your kids to this game?
I did. I was like, really? This the big game? I was like getting prepared for it. I was going to show up early. I did. I showed up like an hour and a half early to this game because I wanted to just be around before, see guys warming up and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Gobert is out, Bogdanovich is still out, and then you're like, okay, well then it's just not a real game at that point. You're just not seeing. You're not seeing exactly what is going to happen in the playoffs if these two teams face.
It's exactly what Snyder wanted. Snyder cut.
Possibly the Snyder cut was Rudy Gobert not playing in this game. And then all of a sudden, like this game was Rudy Gay leading the Jazz in shot attempts.
I joked before the game that he's going to have over 20, and he had 18. He led the team in scoring. Can you give us a standings update? Where are we at?
Standings update. The Dallas Mavericks are in sole possession of 4th place in the Western Conference.
Let's go.
Meaning that they have home court advantage in the first round. They are a game ahead of the Jazz right now, and they are 2 games back from the 3rd seeded Golden State Warriors. Now, The Mavs next couple of games. The Mavs play. Hold on, 1 second. The Mavs play the Lakers. Their next game. The Lakers are going through it right now. It is.
Oh man, I hate that for them.
Tuesday night, the Mavs play the Lakers at home. Then Wednesday, they play at the Cavs. So that's a second night of a back-to-back where they have to fly to Cleveland. That one's going to be strange.
Wait.
By the way,
I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Oh, no, the Lakers game's at home. My bad.
The Lakers game is at home for the Mavs. And that one's on TNT, by the way. So get ready for that. That'll be a fun game to watch, especially if the Mavs win. Then second night of a back-to-back at Cleveland. The Warriors' next stretch of games.
Cleveland's going through some stuff right now.
Cleveland is not playing like they were at the beginning of the season for sure either. They got some stuff to go through. Cleveland's next 2 games. Tonight, Monday, they play at Memphis, who was just destroying everybody. And then they play home against the Suns on Wednesday. That's the Warriors' next 2 games.
Oh, you said Cleveland. So I was like,
what did I say? No,
you
Monday.
said Cleveland's next 2 games, and they play
Memphis. Who cares about Cleveland?
Give a crap.
Who cares about Cleveland? The Warriors. Sorry, the Warriors' next 2 games at Memphis on Monday, so tonight, then against the Suns on Wednesday with Chris Paul back.
Yeah,
there is a good
no Steph.
There is a decent chance. Let's say there's a possibility that by the end of Wednesday, the Mavs are in 3rd place in the West.
That's wild. Yeah.
If you look at those next couple of games, if we're projecting, you want to go game by game and just project the rest of the season?
God bless. The two teams above Dallas right now are missing their star point guards. So Steph, Ja, both out. I mean, Ja's looks like a couple weeks. We're not really catching Memphis probably, but Steph out the rest of the regular season. So we keep on waiting. I mean, they're 5-5 over the last 10. So let's see what happens. But obviously, if you move the 3, the advantage to do what we were making fun of Utah a little bit ago, if you move to 3, you avoid Phoenix in the second round. So, not trying to count your what's the saying? Since I always get sayings right.
No, go try it. Please go for it.
Not gonna count the eggs before they hatch. Is that right?
That's close. Count your chickens before they hatch.
Oh, all right.
Because like sometimes when they have eggs, not all of them hatch into chickens.
That's true. We're not gonna count our ostriches before they hatch.
No, they're not always.
But if you land at 3, then there's no way. I mean, I think Phoenix personally is like hands.
They're the best team in the NBA, hands down.
Yeah, hands down.
Head to toe, the best team in the NBA.
Because at that point, who are you playing in the second round? If you assuming you can get past the first, you're playing Memphis,
Memphis or Minnesota or LA or the Clippers.
Yeah. So, or the Lakers.
No, the Lakers can only get to 8, I think.
Oh man,
because they're 10th right now. That 9-10, you can only make it to 8.
That's funny. LeBron's gonna tank this just so he's like, I don't.
The Lakers are only a game ahead of the Spurs. Like there's a chance here that Lakers don't even make the play-in.
I just feel so bad for him. It's just.
I believe that as much as I believe Chris Rock didn't mean his joke what he said.
Somebody else king.
Would you rather go up to 3 and play the Nuggets now? I know you've been asking for the Jazz all season.
No, I still want the Jazz, but Austin was on this pod over the weekend, and he was
good episode.
He was adamant. He wants Denver. He's like, we will beat Denver in 5. And he was like kind of the first person I've heard like really, really want Denver, and like we would beat them in 5. So he still didn't convince me. I still want Utah, but I'm at least thinking about the Denver stuff. I just don't want Golden State. I don't want them.
Denver has no one to guard Dinwiddie and Brunson.
Yeah.
Like Luka, they have Aaron Gordon. They're going to at least try. They're going to try him on him. But no, it's like literally Austin Rivers, Bryn Forbes. And
God bless.
Those are their guards.
Rivers. I can't deal with Austin Rivers.
You can't deal with anything Duke right now. By the way, how are you feeling about Duke, North Carolina?
I'm really scared, to be honest.
Well, North Carolina's a lower seed. It's Coach K's last game. Like everything is on Duke right now, right? There's no pressure on UNC.
There's no pressure. I just hate Coach K. And it's like, really, they're gonna be able to say the whole, yeah, we beat you one last time. It's like, all right, cool, go retire. You're old. And they're that Duke team though. It's a little forecast. We could be talking about that Duke team on tomorrow's pod.
Oh, good tease tomorrow. That's where we're gonna get in.
People.
We're gonna get into something like that tomorrow. We'll be talking about a couple of draft prospects. Now, make your second listen today. Locked On NBA. Biggest experts covering the best stories around the NBA Monday through Friday in 30 minutes. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
Slap your mama.